Good evening. The YouTube video of that surprised kitten that everyone seems to adore so much will not be seen tonight. Instead, here's another one of those Nightfall videos. Now get out of here.
It's a good sale. It's a good sale. You're not going to find sales like this anywhere else in Nightfall. Let's pick up, George. You're going to look all day, you're going to buy some.
And now we begin our journey into the latest installments of the Nightfall series with Nightfall, Release the Beast. I said cut that out! At Old Tucson Studios. Here is where much of what has transpired should begin to be familiar to some of you younger folk out there. Now, by Nightfall Dark Asylum, Old Tucson Studios began instituting more elaborate haunts, amazing special effects and pyrotechnics, elaborate musicals, and of course let's not forget the Nightfall souvenir cups. This year marked the continuation of some of the more old-school Nightfall concepts, starting with the return of Josie McFarland, Dr. Jebediah Hyde's rival, and leader of the constant struggles and escape attempts from Gouliard. But now the plot began to thicken. This year utilized the Electrominator, a Dr. Hyde device created in Nightfall 9, in Exodus of the Doomed. Hyde has been utilizing this device, as well as an array of creatures from the outskirts of the desert, to experiment in a new technique in gene splicing. But hey, I'm getting way ahead of myself. First, let's discuss some of the many venues that were available during Nightfall, Release the Beast. For the sake of this year's theme, you had the return of the elusive Manimal, who could be easily mistaken for the creature in Nightfall 2. Bringing the series to a full circle. This year also marked the return of the infamous Gargoyles of Town Square, Vinny and Guido, which inadvertently severed all traditional themes of Nightfall and threw it out the window. You had the Fear Train, which told the ghostly story of Dr. Jebediah Hyde's encounter with the ruthless outlaws Red Jack Almer and Eli Rivas. You had the rock band Rock Off thingy. You had the Not Scary Farm game area. They had Dr. Hyde's Subterranean Lab, which played a role in the theme of experimentation gone awry. There was also Spider's Lair, one of Dr. Jebediah Hyde's experimental mistakes, if you will. There was Hyde School Musical, which was a topical, high-energy dance show. And of course there was the Symposium of Atrocities, involving, I believe, the inmates of Gouliard attempting magic. And finally, the stunt show, Release the Beast, opens in complete darkness as we witness an experiment escape underneath the guests. The creature is finally destroyed by the guard Kavanaugh and his assistant Grok, a Javelina mutant. Hyde eventually sends orders to the two guards, and the dusty streets of Nightfall are left unattended, where Sam, a bat mutant, runs into Josie, a mountain lion mutant. Gene Splice mutant, inmate rebels, Gene Splice mutant, inmate rebels. I thought it was funny. They meet up with a woman named Isabel, a woman who has been captured by Hyde to assist in these experiments. She explains to the two inmates that with the help of the Electrominator, they may be able to reverse the effects of the experimentation. But a conflict ensues and the three go on the attack with Grok and Kavanaugh. Sam gets hold of some very powerful weaponry, but Hyde open fires on Sam. Then Hyde takes the injured Kavanaugh aside and explains to him that after all these years, he is tired of all the mistakes. And so, he disposes of Kavanaugh once and for all, sending Kavanaugh to his demise. But then all of a sudden, Josie and Isabel, armed with weapons, shoot down Grok, but Hyde makes his escape to the tower where the Electrominator resides. Hyde then becomes irate with this uprising and decides to destroy the Electrominator in order to sabotage Josie McFarlane's plans. Josie becomes enraged himself and shoots down Dr. Jebediah Hyde. An explosion occurs, and Dr. Jebediah Hyde is sent falling directly into an armory. Hyde, being a revenant, reveals himself to the two rebels and begins to open fire. But Isabel goes on the attack and puts Hyde and Josie into separate cells. She then takes over the town of Nightfall and the asylum grounds, leaving Josie and Hyde in confinement. Oh, snap. What is now in store for Josie and Dr. Jebediah Hyde? Well, you better tune in next week, Pilgrim, as we continue the story of one poor, tormented soul's twisted journey with Nightfall, Harvest of Fear, here at Old Tucson Studios.